have always aspired to lead my teams into high performance, but early in my career, I must admit that I led people straight into burnout. I realized I can't call it success if people are exhausted, disengaged, or leaving. That's not leadership that lasts. The truth is, the teams that perform well over time aren't the ones sprinting harder every single day. They're the ones who know why they're doing the work and who have the space to breathe while they're doing it. That's what inspired me to create Longevity Leadership, a framework for leading in a way that fuels both performance and well-being. Because people shouldn't have to choose between results and their mental health. We can build environments that deliver both. Longevity leadership rests on 4 pillars that make leadership biologically sustainable. Number 1, fuel sustainable motivation. Don't just push hard to get short-term results. Build purpose-driven performance that lasts. Number 2, cultivate trust from the inside out. Using neuroscience, create safety so that people will speak up and contribute their best ideas. Number 3, build adaptability and growth. Make space for people to stretch and learn instead of just delivering the same old things over and over. And finally, number 4, hardwire healthy habits. Shape culture, not with posters, but with the routines and rituals we repeat every day. Each of these pillars is grounded in neuroscience and leadership practice. Together, they help leaders stop unintentionally burning people out and start creating conditions where people can thrive. Let's go a bit deeper into the last pillar, hardwire healthy habits. Research shows that nearly half of what we do every day is on autopilot, habits running quietly in the background. That means if leaders want to change culture, they can't just inspire people by plastering the new core values all over the walls at HQ. To change culture, leaders have to rewire the routines that drive behavior. Habits are stored in the basal ganglia, an incredible region of the brain that acts like your easy button. When it notices you're spending a lot of energy on the same task over and over, it says, hey, let me take this off your plate. I'll automate it so you don't have to think about it ever again. It writes a script so you can run that action on autopilot. Think about when you first learned to drive. If you're like me, your dad was in the passenger seat, yelling instructions, pressing his foot down on an imaginary brake while you tried to remember which pedal was which, check the mirrors, signal a turn, and watch your speed all at the same time. It was overwhelming. But your brain noticed that you were pouring energy into that activity week after week. Eventually, the basal ganglia stepped in and automated it. Now, you can probably drive home and not even remember half of the trip. That's the power of unconscious habits. They free up your brain's resources by putting repeated behaviors on autopilot. Here's another example. I installed a new app on my phone, and suddenly all of my apps shifted position. I kept picking up my phone and clicking the wrong one. But here's the kicker. I never consciously decided to grab my phone in the first place. I did it out of habit, and only afterward I thought, wait, I didn't even mean to look at my phone. Why am I doing this? That's because habits follow a predictable loop. Cue, routine, reward. Cue, I feel bored. Routine, I reach for my phone. Reward, my brain gets a little dopamine hit from a notification or a funny video. The brain remembers that loop, so the next time I'm bored, it fires automatically. Here's the important part. Don't try to just break a habit. Instead, replace it by rewiring the loop. Let's say you want to stop drinking so much coffee. Start by identifying the habit loop. The cue is stumbling half asleep into your kitchen early in the morning. The routine, turning on the pot and then pouring a cup of coffee. The reward is feeling alert. You can disrupt that habit loop by changing the environment. Replace the coffee pot with a tea kettle or even a blender for protein smoothies. You will still stumble into the kitchen expecting to see your coffee pot, but when you see that tea kettle, you'll remember, that's right, I was going to drink tea in the morning now. If you stick with it long enough, you'll have a new routine and a new reward. Over time, your brain rewires that habit. So now you'll do it on autopilot. Now, think about the implications in the workplace. Imagine a team that stays silent in meetings. Cue. The leader asks for input. Routine. People stay quiet. Reward. They avoid risk, conflict, or embarrassment. That loop reinforces itself, and the culture becomes one of silence. Leaders can intentionally shift this. For example, change the routine by making it standard practice to call on a variety of voices, or to end every meeting with a round of insights. Then change the reward by recognizing contributions. Thank you for raising that point. That's exactly the perspective we needed. Over time, the team will rewire its habit from silence to contribution. Culture is not what is on the posters or value statements. Culture is what you repeat, how we start meetings, how we respond under pressure, what we prioritize when things get tight. And leaders shape that culture through the habits they reinforce, intentionally or not. Because culture is really a collection of habits, I want to give you a simple tool you can use right now to deconstruct a habit in your own life or on your team. Number 1, identify the habit. What is the behavior you want to change? Number 2, map the loop. What is the cue? What's the routine? What is the reward? Number 3, redesign the loop. How can you alter the environment or the cue, swap in a healthier routine, and ensure the reward still satisfies the brain? Finally, to make it sustainable, reinforce it. Create reminders in the environment and celebrate the small wins. For example, with the silent meeting habit, the cue was the leader asks for input. Now that doesn't change in the new habit loop, but we do change it very slightly. We invite people to contribute by name, or we ask each person to share an insight. The reward shifts too, recognition and appreciation. Over time, that repetition reshapes the loop and rewires the culture. So what can leaders do right now to hardwire better habits into their leadership? Here are 3 simple practices you can try tomorrow. 1, micro habits for leaders. Start every meeting with why this work matters. End every meeting with one insight or takeaway from each person. Protect recovery time after major deliverables to signal that it's safe to rest. Number 2, language swaps. that lower threat responses. Instead of saying, we can't fail on this, say, let's experiment and see what we learn. Instead of being completely direct and saying, you need to fix this, say something like, how could we approach this together? Instead of saying, that won't work, say something like, what would it look like if it did? These small changes matter because they lower the amygdala's threat response and open space for creativity and trust. At the end of the day, ask yourself 4 questions. Did I connect the team to why this work matters? Did I create space where people feel seen and safe to speak up? Did I reinforce the right behaviors or the wrong ones? Just 2 minutes of reflection rewires attention and nudges you toward healthier leadership habits. Longevity leadership is about creating biologically sustainable teams where performance and well-being reinforce each other instead of competing. By fueling motivation, cultivating trust, building adaptability, and hardwiring healthy habits, we can stop leading people to burnout and start leading teams that thrive. That is leadership for the long haul, and is how we build organizations that perform not just today, but for years to come.